Hello and welcome back to Food with Chetna. Every year when it's my kids' birthdays, I make them their birthday cakes, and every year I share those cakes with you. I have done that for past few years. I've made them all sorts of tiramisu cake, chocolate cake, Ferrero Rocher cake, and it is Sia's birthday and I asked her what she would like for a cake because that would make it so much easier for me. But she says, you decide. Seriously, it would just make it so much easier if she said, I want this cake, and then I know what I'm making. So she's asked me to choose myself. So I thought I'll keep it simple. And she likes like basic cakes, but she also likes chocolate. So I'm going to do a nice layered vanilla sponge with dark chocolate ganache and a little bit of Irish cream syrup going through the cake. So let's make this delicious cake. Before that, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button. Right, I'm going to start with the cake and get the oven preheated first. First things first, I'm going to line 4 8-inch round cake tins. So I'm just going to grease them with butter and I'm going to line them with some baking paper. I have turned the oven on at 180C or 160 fan. Next step. So I have got here some caster sugar. Because I'm making 4 layers of the cake, I'm going to make a slightly bigger quantity of the mixture. I'm going to take 350 grams of caster sugar. You can use golden caster sugar, normal caster sugar, and usually I just mix the sugar and butter and all the other ingredients, but because the quantity is a bit more than normal 8-inch cake tin, I am going to just whisk the, sorry it's too much, just whisk the butter and sugar first to smoothen it out before I add the rest of the ingredients. So that's, sorry, what am I doing? Oh my god, I thought I needed 250, but I actually need 350. So that's 350 sugar. And also it's really cold, so even though I put the butter out a day ago last night, it's really not very soft because the kitchen is so cold. So in goes 350 grams of unsalted softened butter. Because it's not that soft, whisking these two alone before adding anything else will make the butter smoother and softer, and it won't be lumpy, the mixture. So that is 350 grams of unsalted butter. And now I am just gonna beat this with a beater. This down. So beat this for a good 2 minutes. So it's been a couple of minutes, and as you can see that even though I have beat this for a couple of minutes, it is softer and it's smoother, like look at that. But this just shows that how cold the kitchen is and how it needed to beat so much. Right, next I'm going to add 6 eggs. I'm going to break in 6 eggs. And once the eggs are in, I'm going to beat this again for a few seconds. Once the eggs are kind of broken up, I'm going to add 350 grams of self-raising flour. Now, self-raising flour usually just is different from plain flour because it has baking powder added to it, but we need more baking powder. So I'm going to add 1.5 teaspoon of baking powder in addition to what's in the self-raising flour. Also, I'm going to add a teaspoon of good vanilla extract in here. Lovely. And really important is to add some milk. So I'm adding whole milk and I'm adding 5 tablespoons of it. Sorry, that was a bit too much. 2, 3, 4, 5. And then all that's left to do is beat this together for a couple of minutes. Right, so this is how the mixture looks. I'm going to divide it into the 4 cake tins and then bake them for around 25 minutes, and then I'll have a quick check. It might need another 5, but I will check and then get them out once they're ready. Lovely. Right, I have tried to divide it as equally as possible in the 4 tins, and I'm just where is the fly coming from? Seriously, it's not even summers anymore. Anyways, just gonna spread it as evenly as I can and put them straight in the oven. So making a bit more mixture and not a mixture with 4 eggs but instead with 6 eggs just means that hopefully when these will bake, they will have a bit of thickness to it and they'll be not like thin cakes, because I want enough cake to cut 12 slices, and I could have made like a bigger cake, like a 10-inch cake, but it's not the same. I want it to be massive, but just the right size. It has been exactly 25 minutes. The cakes look pretty done because you can see that they have left the sides of the cake tin, which is a big sign that they're done. Obviously, they are not flat. They are a bit wonky, but that does not matter because they smell incredible. So I'm going to get these out now. Like I said, they have left the sides. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave them to cool in the tins for 5 minutes. Then I'm going to take them out. And once they fully cool down, I'm going to cover with a towel. And then I'm going to ice and finish it fresh tomorrow. So yeah, I'll leave it overnight to cool down. But don't leave it open because it'll dry out. Cover it with something before you leave the kitchen. Right, I'm just going to make a quick syrup for the cakes. They have been sitting wrapped up since last night. I'm just going to make a syrup here. So I have got 100 grams of caster sugar, 100 ml of water, and I'll add some Irish cream. So all I want to do is very quickly dissolve the sugar. It's not like I want to kind of cook this mixture or anything. Just want to dissolve the sugar. So once the sugar has dissolved and it's just coming to a boil, I'm just going to add 100 ml of Irish cream. You can make this without this alcohol, but I'm only using 100 ml to kind of flavor the cake. But you can just make a sugar syrup if you want. Once you've got this mixture, and then you can turn the heat off and let this cool down for 10 minutes. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the cakes on top of the paper and then just brush all the syrup equally on top of all these cakes, and in the time that the cakes sit here soaking up all the syrup, I'm going to prepare the chocolate ganache. And I usually don't do this, but I am just literally chopping off the top of it, trying to make it a little bit smoother, because a couple of the cakes have too much kind of mound on it. So just gonna get the tiniest bit off. Don't worry, I'm gonna eat the toppings. I love this bit. So just gonna scrape a little bit off the cakes. Right, now that I have evened these, I'm just gonna take the syrup and evenly brush a lot of it on all the cakes, so they have a bit more even top, and these little offcuts are delicious. Right, so that's it. I have used up all the syrup and I've just divided it in equally into all these. Now these can just sit here for 5 minutes while I prepare the ganache. For the ganache, I've got 300 ml of double cream, which I'll just gently bring it to a boil. And while that's happening, I'm gonna just roughly chop 200 grams of dark chocolate, and once it comes to a boil, take it off, and I've got that 200 grams of dark chocolate. Just pour it over and let it sit for maybe a couple of minutes before we start stirring it. Now we just stir this through. So I actually left it for a minute, and it's just that if you do it straight away, it helps for the chocolate to start melting on its own before we start stirring it, and then just stir. It's all melted. Now this is going to be at the moment a bit runny, which is absolutely fine. You can cover and let it sit in the fridge for a little bit because the the kitchen is a bit cold anyways. I am going to let it sit outside for 10 minutes before I put it in the fridge for another 10, and then I can spread it on the cake. There we go. Looks lovely. Look at that. So the ganache, I didn't put it in the fridge. It's been outside. It's slightly set, which is fine. So I'm going to assemble this. I just want to show you what I'm cooking for their main, because I am cooking for the kids. So I'm making butter chicken, which the kids love. So there is chicken in the fridge, and I'm making this sauce. So usually we get food from outside, like pizza kind of thing, or I'll do some ready kind of stuff for the kids' parties. But this time I requested my daughter if I could just cook for her friends. So I'm going to have a house full of teenagers, and I've decided to cook a meal and make her cake as well. So which is why I'm cooking butter chicken, because it's one of those dishes which is always a hit with grown-ups and children alike. So I'm not going to add any chili to it. I'm going to leave that out, so it's like a mild curry, but hopefully all the kids are going to enjoy it, and I'm going to make a big vat of rice to go with it. It is quite watery, the icing, But that is absolutely fine. I don't need tons and tons of it. Just a nice thin layer of ganache. Plenty. And then whatever drips out, even better. You know I love rustic cakes. All my cakes I've ever made on YouTube are like that. Lime goes in, more ganache goes in. And more cake goes on. Oh, it started to ooze out. Brilliant. And that's just the right amount of ganache. Just gonna ease that all around before I add the next and the last layer. And I might have to just put skewers in to hold it in place till the time that the ganache sets. Right, I just want to show you, I like to share real life obviously. So I just turned my head to get the skewer from the drawer and the cake, the top layer just slid onto the floor. So now I've got mess everywhere. I picked it up, but I've lost some ganache, which obviously I'm not going to pick up. I just picked up the cake layer and I've taken all the side ganache and I've fixed and made it still for the time being. Now what I'm going to do is put more skewers around. I'm showing you real life kitchen. I've got chicken curry on the go. I've got cake that almost dropped and I've got dishwasher loading. I've got lots of washing up to do, but this is a real life kitchen and things do happen like the falling of the cake, but I rescued it thankfully, not too much harm done. And I'm just putting these so that ganache sets. Could have been worse. Could have been worse. I've still got a birthday cake to cut and I'm just gonna smoothen the sides out by hand so the cake is completely covered. And what I'm going to do is once it is all set in an hour's time, I'm going to actually then whip up some fresh cream and just make some sort of pattern. And in the meantime, I'm also going to get some kitchen roll and clean up the plate. Okay, I have decided that it's too much to clean this on the side, so I'm going to take the easy way out and just going to move the cake and then put the plate in washing. Right, I'm come back to this in a few minutes. That's the butter chicken ready for the kids. I really hope that they are going to enjoy it. So when I'm serving this to kids or if people are not aware of Indian food, I usually take out the whole spices. Now that it's cooked, I will just look for whole spices and take them out because I don't want somebody's dinner to kind of be ruined because they bit into like a pepper or a cardamom or something. Right, this is ready. Now I'll just make some rice and a little vegetarian side to go with it. So that's 400 ml of double cream, 2 tablespoons of caster sugar, and then just whisk until it forms soft peaks. If you want, you can add a tablespoon of Irish cream in here too. So I'm going to add 2 gulps of Irish cream and then whisk it until it forms soft peaks. I have made the cream, but Sia is just saying that actually she doesn't want cream on it. So I'm going to use it for my another dessert, which I've made for the grown-ups. So you sure you don't want any cream?
I said I don't care.
Yeah, but no, tell me yes or no. Don't care is not the right answer. Somebody tell me an answer.
Bro!
Bro, tell me yes, you want cream.
It would just look a bit goofy, do you not think?
What, goofy in a good way goofy? What is goofy mean?
Goofy means bad.
Means bad.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Like
so you
silly.
don't want it. Okay.
Like, will you put just like a clump of cream?
No, I was just going to put a thin layer and then spread it.
Okay, yeah, just do it. Let's do it.
Okay, so that is just a clump of cream, which is going to look very goofy. And I'm just finishing it. Oh, look how goofy it looks. Oh, goofiness. Right. That's why she's sending me out of the house when her friends are coming. So now you know why. And here it is. This year's Sia's Irish cream and chocolate vanilla cake. We're going to cut into it now.
If you watched the pineapple cake video for my 11th birthday,
Yes,
this is a glow down.
Glow down. Well, I asked you what you want and you said choose. So I chose my favorite things. So you can't complain now. Anyways, right. We're going to cut it in a few minutes as soon as her friends are in. Come on now. Cut. No, first blow the candles. Make a wish. Don't burn your hair.
We'll be here longer if you keep doing this.
It's like we're at a wedding.
Ooh, moment of truth. Let's see. Oh my god, that's
Why
like
the
the
skin
tiniest
slice?
slice. Exactly, like it's the tiny slicest.
To another plate.
Do you want me to do it?
Yes, please. It would be nice. Ooh, look at that. Oh my god, look at that. Okay, I'm digging in. The layers are looking lovely. It's soft, moist, chocolatey. Oh, that is insane. You can really taste the Irish cream, chocolate, vanilla, and that cream on top was a good suggestion. Hope you're gonna enjoy it. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button. Make it for any of your celebrations. Enjoy. Thanks, bye.